Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Prince Automation Destination. This side Prince. I hope you are doing well. So I believe that most of you are aware that extend report is getting sunset and chain test report is going to be the successor of extend report. So we have already started a series on chain test report integration. So in the previous lecture, we discussed about integration of chain test report in BDD Cucumber along with TestNG. So in case you want to understand more on what is chain test report and how to integrate in BDD Cucumber, I would request you to please check out my previous video, which I'll be sharing in 𝐼𝐼𝐶𝐚. And today we will start the discussion on chain test report integration in TestNG. So before that, let us try to understand what is chain test report. So it is successor of extend report. As we discussed that extend report is getting sunset. So what is chain test report? This is a comprehensive reporting framework supporting multiple generators. Multiple generators meaning multiple reports. So here generators are similar to reporters in extend report. So we have static reporter or simple generator, email generator, and then we have chain LP. So these are the three generators that we have in chain test report. So in the current lecture, we'll be talking about simple and email, and in the next lecture, we will try to explore chain LP. So simple is used to generate the static report where we will get the index.html or whatever the name that we'll provide. So we'll get the static report. And email, in case of email, we will get the report in email format, which can be shared with stakeholders. So in chain LP, we get the real-time and historical data. This is one of the promising feature of chain test report. Okay. Now let us try to understand different component of chain test. So chain test has the core component, which is generator, which is responsible for creating output files based on test results and the configuration settings. So when we execute the test cases through automation, so we get the test result in the form of either pass or fail, right? On top of it, chain test has configuration settings. So using the test result and the configuration setting, it will generate the output file. Then with these output files, it will process the templates and will store the necessary resources such as screenshots, and then it will generate the report in specified format. So everything happens in background, right? Now how to enable it? So the first step is we'll have to add chaintest.properties in src test resources section. Then we'll have to enable the generators. So for the current lecture, we'll be enabling simple and email, and in the next lecture, we'll be talking about chain LP, right? So let us discuss about simple and email generator. Before that, I just want to show you the framework that I'm going to use. So this is a sample framework that I have created, right? Here I have added one chain test package. Inside that I have added one class, right? So this is the same flow that we have used in the previous lecture for BDD Cucumber. Here we are launching the source demo app, we are entering the credentials, and then after we are adding one item into the cart, and at last we are verifying it. I have added one before method for setting up the driver, then I'm using it here, right? And at last I'm quitting it. So for this purpose, I'm using singleton concept, right? That is out of scope. In case you want to understand, I'll be sharing the link of how we can create the driver instance using singleton, right? So this is the sample framework that we are going to utilize, right? Now coming back to simple and email generator, how to enable it. So first thing is we'll have to add this particular dependency of chain test, right? So then the second thing is we'll have to add this chain test.properties, and then we will enable simple and email generator, and we can then add chain test listener, which will be coming from this particular dependency, and we can either add it at the class level, the test class level, or we can add it into TestNG.xml file, right? So let us configure this one by one, right? So in pom.xml, you will already find this particular version. So com.evanstack chain test -testng 1.0.7. This is the latest version, right? So coming back, what is the next thing? So I'll be going to src test resources. Here we need to add chain test.properties. So this is, I'll be adding one file, chain test.properties. Now the next thing is we'll have to enable the simple and email generator in chaintest.properties, and we'll add the respective properties. So for that purpose, I'll be going to Notepad. So this is general details where we can add the project name, right? So first of all, we will add this project name. So this is going to be the project name. So let us keep it as Prince Automation Destination Demo. right? Next thing is we'll have to enable the simple generators, right? Let us copy it as it is and let me explain you one by one. So this is for enabling the simple generator, and this is going to be the title that we can verify from the index.html, which is going to be generated. In our case, it is going to be prince.automation.html because this is what we have given the name. This is the location where the report will be generated, and in case of simple generator, we need to point to chain test simple generator. This is already available on the official documentation, so you don't need to worry about it. If you will go inside the examples, you can take a look from here, chain test cucumber JVM, and here you can check everything, right? So don't worry about anything around it, right? So you can get everything from there, right? So this is for the offline mode, which is similar to extend report. What is the theme that we want to get? We can by default it is dark. If you want to get light, we can make it as false. This is the date time format that will appear in the report. This is for the custom JS and for the custom CSS, right? So this is for the simple generator, right? Let us come back to this particular thing. So first we have added this. Next thing is, so first we will discuss about simple and then we will discuss about email, right? So now let us do one thing. The next thing is we'll have to add chain test listener at the class level or at TestNG.xml level, right? So let us do one thing. We'll go to this particular thing, and here at class level, what we will do is we will add listeners, and here you need to add that particular class. So chaintestListener.class, this will come, right? So it will only come if you have that particular dependency, right? Now to execute this particular test case, we can click here, right? Or we can run from TestNG.xml. So let me run it and see whether we are getting the report of simple report. Let us go to target folder. So in target folder, we can see that chain test report is getting generated, right? So this is how we can view chain test report, right? So we can toggle the summary, right? And if you want to filter this past field, right, so you can check the system details here. So I have talked with the developer, browser details are not here, so he may be incorporating it. So we are planning to have it. I'm just having a discussion with him. So here we can check different shortcut options. So for example, if we want to toggle skip test cases, if for example we want to change the theme, I will simply press L, right? If I'll change L, if I'll press L, it will change the theme, right? So these are the shortcut options. Also, for example, if you want to go to the toggle past filter, so we need to press P. If you want to go to failed test cases, you need to simply press F, right? So for example, if I'll press P, right, so the filter is going on past. If I click on F, so the control is going to failed, right? So this is the name of the report, and if we verify the title, we can verify the title as well. So let me check the title, right? So if I go here, so this is what we provided, right? So this was the title that we provided. So you can see this particular title. This is of not use from automation perspective, but we can take a look at this, right? So this is the time format that we have used. This is at what time it is started, and this is what time it got ended, right? So overall time is 10 seconds, right? So this is suits, this is classes and methods. So this is how we can generate the simple report, right? Similarly, if we want to generate email report, we can enable the email generator. But before that, I just want to show you, as per the slides, that we can add this chain test listener either at class level or at TestNG.xml level, right? So at first we have added at class level, right? So what I will do is I'll go to this, I'll remove from here, and I'll now go to this TestNG.xml, which I have already created, right? And in this case also I'm pointing to this test dot chain test dot source demo flow, the same flow, right? So at suit level we will add listeners, right? Inside this we need to add listener. Okay, so you will automatically get this particular thing. Now again you need to search for chain test and you need to press control space, right? And you will see this. So you'll be able to see this, right? Now for example, let me clean this target first and let me execute from TestNG.xml. So what I have done is I have removed the listener from here now, right? So what I'm going to do is I am simply going to execute from TestNG.xml by providing the listener at TestNG level, right? So let us see whether we are getting the report or not. So let us go to target and we are able to see the report, right? So this is how we can see the report, right? Now let us talk about email report, right? So for email report, we'll have to enable the email generator. So I'll be going to Notepad and I'll be picking this particular information, right? Okay. So you can again get it from the repository, development repository, which I'll be sharing you in the description section, right? So I'll simply enable it, right? And in this case, if you notice in the previous case, the class was chain test simple generator. In this case, it is chain test email generator. So this is coming from the dependency, right? So it will be pointing to the dependency of chain test, right? So what I will do is I will again execute this particular test case from TestNG.xml, right? At this point of time, we should be able to see email report as well, right? So you see email report also got generated. This is email report. So here looks some bug. I have reported it to the developer, so he may be looking into it, right? Now let us come back to the slides, right? And now let us discuss about how to add screenshot on failure, right? Because when we deal in automation, so evidences are most important, so we need to attach it to the screenshot for the reference purpose, right? So how to handle screenshot in case of chain test report in TestNG? So first of all, we'll have to implement 𝐼TestListener, and there we can implement this particular method on test failure method, and there we will be writing the screenshot logic. So with this, what will happen is on failure, the control will go to this particular on test failure method. There will be writing the screenshot logic, and then we can use this chain test listener.embed method to add this particular screenshot, right? And once this configuration is done, so similar to this chain test listener, we'll have to add this particular listener as well, which will be implementing 𝐼Test listener. So let us try to understand the same, right? So what I've done is, if you will go here in test section, I have already created listener. Under listeners package, I have created custom listener, right? So this is implementing 𝐼Test listener. So 𝐼Test listener has many methods. I have just overridden the on test failure because we are worried about on test failure, right? So here I'm using take screenshot interface to take the screenshot on failure, right? Now what we will do is we will use chain test listener dot embed method, right? So here it will be, it can accept many things, right? So it can expect byte array, I mean, right? File and base 64, right? So in our case it is byte array, right? So we'll be using it. So what is the MIME type that we need to provide? So MIME type is image PNG, right? So whatever the image type is, we can provide the same, right? Now what we have to do is we'll have to go to the actual test case, right? And we will make a intentional failure, right? So here I will simply add the negation so that it will intentional get failure, right? So we have implemented this custom listener, but we'll have to use it as well in the either at the class level. So what we can do is we can either go to this particular source demo, and similar to as we added the listener here, we can add the listener again here, right? So let me show you how we can do it. So we'll have to add two listeners actually. One is chain test listener if we are planning to use it from the class level, right? And then we need this custom listener as well, right? So this is one way. Another way is what we can do is we can simply delete from here and we'll go to TestNG.xml, and in this listener section I'll add another listener. Okay, so custom listener. So let me search it. So I'm able to see this, right? Now let me clean this particular target, right? So in this case it should fail, right? So and screenshot should also be attached. So let us see whether we are able to attach the screenshot or not. should fail, and let us wait, right? So test case got failed, and let us go to target. So you will notice in resources section, previously there was nothing, but now there is one screenshot, right? So I can simple open this particular simple report, and I should be able to see the screenshot. So we are able to see the screenshot, right? And in case of email, there won't be any screenshot provision, right? So we won't be able to see the screenshot, right? Now there is another thing, how to add logs as well. So we can add log as well in chain test report, as like we can add it into extent report. So we'll have to use simply chaintestListener.log. So what I'll be doing is I'll be simply going to the test case, right? And here somewhere I'll be adding this particular log, right? Maybe let me add after this. So chaintestListener.log, and I'll simply say logged in successfully, and let me remove this failure, right? And let me execute the test case once again. So let me open the simple report and see whether we are able to see the log. So we are able to see the log, logged in successfully. So this is how we can add the log as well, right? So this is what I wanted to cover, guys, as part of current lecture. In the next lecture, we will try to understand how to generate report using ChainLP generator in TestNG.